What is up, everybody? We are back to talk about the Shriners Children's Open. Before we do, let's do a quick recap of the Black Desert Championship. I thought the course was great. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased. I live in Utah. I played the course before. Thought it was pretty awesome. I thought it showed well on TV. I thought once the wind picked up on the weekend, showed some teeth. So hopefully we get a stronger field at that event moving forward. But again, it's part of the FedEx Cup Fall. So I'm not getting my hopes up. But yeah, I thought it was a cool event. Congrats to Matt McCarty. I mean, what a change of career paths over the last 6 months for him. Won 3 times on the Korn Ferry Tour, and then won in his 3rd PGA Tour start. So good to see him playing well. I always love stories when Korn Ferry Tour graduates come in and play well. I think we need more younger guys on tour, and so hopefully the PGA Tour will grant some access to some of those Korn Ferry Tour graduates. But yeah, we're here to talk about the Shriners Children's Open. It's probably my favorite event of the FedEx Cup Fall. Typically garners a pretty strong field. I wouldn't say that's necessarily the case this week, but Tom Kim's in the field. Some other decent names are in the field. We typically see like Patrick Cantlay and a couple others play this event, but that's not the case this year. The event is held at TPC Summerlin in Las Vegas, par 71, 7,255 yards. It's a desert course. All 3 of the par 5s are reachable. The recent winners here have been very strong. So we've seen a lot of favorites win here. Tom Kim, Sung Jae Im, Kevin Na, Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Cantlay. So not a lot of long shot winners here, even though this is a birdie fest. It's been in terms of difficulty, 42nd or easier out of like 50 courses each of the last 3 years. The greens are large, the fairways are wide. The greens feature bent grass and they're pretty slow. So not overly difficult to putt on. You don't want to miss the fairways because this is a desert course. So the fairway penalty is pretty high here. The missed fairway penalty is pretty high here. Not a lot of water in play. Driving accuracy average last year was 61%. Average driving distance was 305 yards, much higher than PGA Tour average. Average green regulation was 74%, which is also much higher than Tour average. I will note that scrambling is pretty difficult. So while the greens are easy to hit, when you do miss them, it is pretty tough to get it up and down at this course. It's pretty weak field. I will note that the weather forecast could be something to keep an eye on this week. I mean, we always want to check the wind, but right now it looks like the Thursday afternoon is going to be really bad, 30-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts, and then Friday, pretty windy throughout the day, 20-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts. So definitely something to keep an eye on. We could see a weather edge one way or another, so definitely keep checking that weather report. I had the links to the wind finder both in the pre-PGA First Look and the Core Plays article that I do every week, if you want to check those out. So let's talk about the model for the week. I have 6% off the tee, 6% to total driving. Again, it's a course where you don't have to be long, but it's certainly, if you're long and straight, that's definitely an advantage here. 12% to stroke gain approach. We do have the expected approach column back this week because this is an event where we played it before, so we have the expected approach distances. Guys that I expect to gain the most strokes based on where they're going to be hitting their approach shots from: Tom Hoge, Kurt Kitayama, Tom Kim, Grayson Sigg, and Emiliano Grillo. Greens and regulation, I don't have any weight to it this week because everyone's going to be hitting these greens at a pretty high rate. So I don't think golfers that hit a lot of greens, that's the strength of their game, that's kind of negated a bit this week because everyone's going to be hitting these greens, if that makes sense. I kind of like to bump this up on courses where you need a strong tee to green game. 3% to around the green, 8% to putting. We do have some bent grass splits in the model this week. So guys that have putted the best on bent grass over the last 2 years: Harry Hall, Aaron Baddeley, Harris English, JT Poston, and Mav McNeely. 3% to birdie or better, 3% to bogey avoidance, 3% to course history. The course history here has been pretty predictive here year in and year out. So if you want to bump this up, you certainly can. Guys that have played the best here: Hadwin, Tom Kim, Neesmith, Harry Hall, Eric Cole, Bo Hostler. So kind of a nice mix of names there, not really a specific course fit. And then we have the miscellaneous things that are going into the model. We have who plays the best on easy courses when it's, very easy scoring conditions. You have JT Poston, Eric Cole, JJ Spawn. Golfers that play the best on courses with large greens: Steven Yeager, Eric Cole, Harris English. Guys that play the best in the desert: Adam Hadwin, Tom Kim, Tom Hoge. So if you want to bump those up or down, feel free to do so. Again, you can download this model if you are RG Premium member. And yeah, you can go from there. You can play with the weights. You can come up with your own ratings. You can put those right into Lineup HQ and build your own lineups based on your ratings, which I think is kind of cool. Now, new to the model last week, I added the top 5% finish, the top 10% finish, the top 25% finish. What this does, it gives you an idea of a golfer's floor and his ceiling. So how often a golfer finishes in the top 5% of the events that he's played in. Matt McCarty leads the way at 33%. No surprise there. He's been on fire on the Korn Ferry Tour and then coming off of a win last week. But again, this field strength metric here is going to help negate golfers that are playing most of their events either on the DP World Tour or the weaker field PGA Tour events or Korn Ferry Tour, whatever it may be. So as you can see, he only has a 3.6 field strength rating. So that's going to automatically bump his rating down in the model, because I do have the field strength weighted at 12%. So that's one of the lowest in the field. So he's playing in a lot of weak fields. He is playing great, but that is not naturally going to bump him down. If I put this at 0, it didn't include it at all. Watch what it does to his rating. He's currently 7th in the model. He would go up to 1st in the model. So we don't want that. Not that he can't win again this week, but he needs to show it in better fields before. And then once he plays in these stronger fields, this is going to naturally come up because he's playing in better fields. So other golfers that have pretty, high ceilings, you have Kevin Yu, who's kind of surprising, Steven Yeager, Matt McNeely, Patrick Fishburne, and then you have the top 10 percentile finish and the top 25 percentile finish. This is more of a high floor type of play. So if you're saying they're playing in a field of 140, or let's say 160 golfers, top 25% finish would mean if they finish in the top 40 that week. So guys that with a really high floor, you have McCarty up there, Trey Mullinax, who very surprising, Keith Mitchell, Ben Griffin, and Johnny Vegas kind of round out your top 5. So all of that leads to the overall ratings. I kind of weighed down short term this week because we don't have a ton of events over the last 3 months. So some of these guys have only played 1 or 2 events. So I bumped that down, midterms at 12, long terms at 12, and then the field strengths at 12. At the very top, we have Taylor Pendrith. Tom came all the way down to number 5. That is a little surprising. But again, he just hasn't been that consistent. He hasn't played in 2 months. He did play the President's Cup, did win here last year in his debut at this event. But again, the numbers, they don't take into account, how we feel about the golfers or their star power or anything like that. It's just straight numbers. And Pendrith's number 1, Powers number 2. He's been playing some great golf. Mitchell, the guy that missed the cut that was really high on last week, is number 3. He hasn't been very good at this course in the past. So coming off the missed cut, we could see some low ownership for Mitchell this week, although early ownership projections suggest otherwise. Davis Thompson, we haven't seen him in a while. And then Tom Kim kind of rounding out your top 5. Personally, I like Pendrith and I like Seamus Power the best. Moving down, Hostler at number 6. He's coming off of 2 good finishes in a row. You have McCarty coming off of his first win. Not sure how he's going to react to that. I'm probably going to be underweight on him this week, but I don't know. If you look at his wins on the Korn Ferry Tour, backed it up with a 9th and then won again and then, T35. So it's not like a win is going to be a huge letdown for him moving forward, but maybe a win on the PGA Tour is a little bit different. Jan Kim, love him this week, 7,600. He's top 25 in this field and basically every stat that you want to look at except for putting. I think he's a strong option in all formats. I like Eric Cole quite a bit too. He's been playing much better golf over the last few months. One of the best on easy scoring courses, one of the best on large green courses, one of the best in the desert, and he finished 3rd here last year. So love Eric Cole this week. Doug Gim, rating out number 10 in the model. So he's a guy that doesn't have a lot of upside, right? 0% top 5 finish, which is not great, but really high floor. And that's because of his ball striking. If he can have a good week putter, I think he could really shine. He's been playing well. He's gained at least 2.8 strokes ball striking in 7 straight events. Love Ben Griffin, playing well, pretty high floor, pretty high ceiling, pretty good form. T11 last week. So love Ben Griffin. Spawn after he burned everybody to Sanderson, bounced back with the top 25 last week. He's been pretty good at this event as well. And I want to say he might be a local. There's a lot of locals in the field. He might be an Arizona guy, a Scottsdale guy. But yeah, a lot of locals in the field this week if you do want to play the local angle. Johnny Vegas, really good ball striker. Yeager's all the way down at 14th. He's been in really good form recently. So if you want to bump him up, you can automatically do it by just putting like a 10% bumped at his projection in the manual adjustment column. I don't mind it one bit. I do like Jaeger this week, even though the model disagrees with me. Kitayama, really good ball striking numbers last week, so don't mind him. Never have a strong take on EVR. I do like Svensson quite a bit. He was kind of in the mix last week for a bad, Saturday or Sunday, but he was T18 here last year. Really good iron player. Hoagie, 9,800, kind of feels a little overpriced given his form. Then we have McNeely, who lives in Vegas right now. Harry Hall. Let's take a look at the point per dollar column, see if there's anybody we missed before we get out of here. Justin Lower's been playing well. I think he missed a cut on the number last week. Yeah. So good bounce back spot for him. Ekro, the guy that can, pop with a lot of upside, as you can see here. Don't have a strong take on Kuchar or Todd. I think they're safe to probably make the cut, but not a lot of upside. Do like Norlander. He's one of the guys that I tagged last week. T8 finish was really solid. He's made his last 2 cuts here as well. Andrew Novak, kind of a good bounce back spot, missed the cut. I think he ended up withdrawing, but he was like right around the cut line, made a pretty strong push on his back nine on Friday, but just didn't quite make it. Ben Coles has been playing some good golf. He did struggle over the weekend a little bit. I like Sam Stevens, back-to-back T37 finishes, and then made the cut here last year. This is the course where he can bomb it out there, so I like him on courses with wider fairways. Nick Hardy, kind of the same thing. I'll be overweight on him. And then Fishburne, he was 9,300 last week and pretty popular. Missed the cut only by 1 or 2 strokes, but I think it's a good bounce back spot for him at 7,200. So that'll do it for this week. Want to wish everyone the best of luck, and we will catch you back here next week. See ya.